Controversial opinion, but if you have a long plane ride in front of you and you want to get into a classic series, you have to go Entourage. It has the best rewatch value of any TV series, hands down, and second place is not even close. Vincent Chase, Johnny Drama, Turtle, Ari Gold, those characters hold the test of time and they will be your perfect companions for your next plane ride.
Holy shit, dude, you're amped. Amped. Entourage, baby. Woo!
Woo! Get crazy in here. Doug Ellen, I love you.
Hey, you guys, welcome to another One Question Friday. You got Kenny and I here, and we're just going to read you questions and talk about them. You got one?
Oh, I love this question. Someone writes in, I have a flight coming up to Europe and I want to get into an old classic TV show to binge. What's your recommendation?
Oh my God. What a great
Such
question.
A good one. Such
I
a
love
good question.
TV.
And so controversial too, because you could go so many different ways. Now, this person is a male, so let's actually slant it. Let's slant it based on their username. I think they're a dude. So let's slant this kind of for the fellas.
Okay, for the fellas. My first thought was Peaky Blinders. That was my first thought. Because
Super weak answer.
You think that's weak as hell?
An iconic old classic TV show to binge. You're going Peaky Blinders. Okay,
fine,
defend
dudes.
this.
The Sopranos.
Defend Peaky Blinders for all the Peaky Blinders fans.
Peaky fucking Blinders. I feel like it's a great, Game of Thrones is too much. It's too much on a plane. And you can't really see what's going on. And the episodes are just so ungodly long. I feel like Peaky Blinders is a low committal one where when you hop off the plane, you don't have to sit in the hotel room for the next 5 hours and just finish watching this show because you're too in. So that was just my first thought. Okay. I feel like the second one I suggest is also going to get ripped on.
Okay, go for it. I'm here to rip on you.
Okay. I recently rewatched something. It's kind of trash, but I love it. Have you ever heard of Lost?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Do you hate it?
No, I haven't. I've never rewatched it. So my metric is if you've never went back and watched it again, then you don't love it. But when it was on, I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's about a plane crash. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You should watch that.
Let's not watch that on the plane, Connor.
Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, scratch that. I have two shit answers. Do you have one?
All right. If we're going an old classic, right? So basically there's two things that you have to think here. It has to have a little bit of a vintage feel, something where some of the content may actually not fly today. So I feel like old, it has to be old, and then it has to be classic. What I'm doing, I think, when I think of old and classic, I think of HBO. Okay. They did old and classic probably better than anybody. They have a big catalog to pick from. So first thing no, that's not HBO. That's definitely AMC, but sure, you start yelling out other stuff too. No. So the first thing that you want to do, you have this long flight, download HBO Max or whatever they're renaming the app to next. Who knows? They're insane. But download HBO and then head over to the series button and download Entourage. Okay. If you're a dude and if you haven't seen Entourage, you can thank me after you land. If you have seen Entourage, you can watch it again and again and again because it's good every single time. Vincent Chase, Drama, Turtle, Ari Gold, they are all some of the most iconic characters. And whether you start on season 1, you can jump right into the middle of season 4. It is good all the time. Doug Ellen, the showrunner and writer and producer, is a genius. I flipped on Entourage just going to bed randomly in season 6. Me and my wife laughed hysterically the entire night. We crushed 4 episodes. It's so good every time. That is my answer. Entourage for the win.
Wow. I feel like you had that in up your sleeve. Like, I feel like anytime someone asks you what to watch, that was there. So I feel like that's cheating.
No, it's definitely not cheating because that's definitely not cheating. I was almost going to say, I was almost going to go Showtime and go with Homeland. Because if you want your blood to boil and if you want to sit on the edge of your plane seat, you flip on Homeland and you just go through the entire series.
The fact that I said Lost, I'm a little ashamed by the fact that I said Lost. I'm not going to lie. But what about Dexter?
Oh, Dexter's good though too. So you have a little bit of a redemption moment, but isn't the critique about Dexter that Dexter wasn't good all the way through? So like the beginning was really good, but then the end was kind of like, is that fair or no?
The end was very surprising. For those of you who haven't seen it, I don't care. It's so old. I'm going to say exactly what happened at the end.
Oh, totally. Go for it.
It shows him at the end. You think he's dead. You think he like went out into the ocean and he's gone. And then you see him as like a lumberjack, if I'm remembering correctly at the end. And then everyone was like, oh, there's just going to be another like series, like spin-off series of him being a lumberjack in the woods. And that never happened. And they're still talking about it. I haven't seen shit. I haven't seen anything.
Everything comes back around though, right?
It's a real big bummer. Like Game of Thrones is the prime example I can think of just like, you worked so hard. You put so much money into this budget. People are so attached to this show. It's gross. Like it keeps them up at night when they're not watching it, thinking about what happened. And then you ruin the ending like that. Like that is the biggest example I can think of just like, how did you turn into liquid trash after being so good for so long? It's a bummer.
I have a controversial statement that I'm going to make, and you can agree or disagree.
Love it.
Right. House of the Dragon was better than Game of Thrones.
That's really hard. That's really like, how can I judge one like if you said, is the first season of Game of Thrones better than the first season of House of Dragons? I'd be like, no. But Game of Thrones in totality versus one season of House of Dragons, I'm like, probably House of Dragons.
Wow, that's actually interesting. So you think season 1 of Game of Thrones was better than season 1 of House of Dragon?
Yeah.
Terrible taste in TV you have.
I mean, I feel like it gave a little bit more, like, I feel like House of Dragons gave more depth than Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones was like, here's 35 characters, like, figure it out. Like, you don't really know what you're looking at, big picture from the first episode, but I was like instantly attached. I think almost having all of those characters made me more attached to more people, so I had an opportunity to be like, what is Arya's deal? Like, I was so curious at the end of that one because I didn't know anything.
All right, speaking of characters, no one wrote this in, but I have a question for you, Conrad.
Okay. God.
If you had to be stuck on a plane with any one TV character, who would you pick and why?
Neil Caffrey from White Collar. If you're interested, sir, in shows like that, he's an art thief that gets paired up with a member of the FBI, and they are like homies that solve crimes. But he always thinks that Neil is going to also commit a crime. So he's always having him under a watchful eye. God, it's such a good. So many fedoras. I love anything about art theft. I think that's so cool. Like Kenny and I are just like dying to commit like some sort of art robbery, like a gem
Wait, what?
heist.
Did you just out us? This gets listened to by hundreds of people.
What if someone from the CIA is listening? Yeah, if you're losing the Hope Diamond sometime in the next couple months,
don't come look at our way.
But that's an awesome show. I feel like sitting next to him on a plane would be great. He'd be like pulling all these suave moves. He'd be like manipulating me, but I don't know I'm being manipulated, which is fine. You know, he can do that.
It's super fun to do to you too. So like, great.
Yeah. Should we like, while we're talking about this, actually though, can we do an example of Chris Voss's techniques?
techniques?
Yeah, his techniques, where he, talks about labeling and stuff. It makes me feel some type of way.
Oh, really? Do you feel like empowered? Like you want to learn more?
Yes, empowered. Like it instantly makes me feel like I could talk to anybody and get anything I need out of it.
Yeah, the power that you'll feel after you master is pretty incredible.
It's pretty incredible. So Kenny and I just did it. That was it. Ta-da! Basically, and I learned this while we were at the airport the other day. Basically, Chris Voss on Masterclass, he's like a hostage negotiator, world renowned. He has a tactic called mirroring, where you say something and the other person says 1 to 3, like pick one out of, the last 3 words they said and repeat it back. So whatever I just said. And then Kenny was like, oh, interesting. And you like respond. Let's do another example.
Okay. So like, for example, my in-laws are coming this week.
This week?
And yeah, this week. So they're actually going to be here and they're coming on Tuesday, leaving on Friday. And I usually am close. I'm used to having my own space. And now I will not have my own space.
Makes you feel a little claustrophobic.
Yeah, definitely like claustrophobic in the sense, just because, like sometimes you just get done with work and you just kind of want to not be on, right? So much of my day is like, I'm constantly on.
That was perfect. If you guys want more recommendations of what to watch on a plane, I actually think I should put like 30 shows that I love in the comments on this video. So if you want to know what I like, check it out. I feel like you shouldn't listen to Kenny about thinking House of Dragons is better than Game of Thrones. Okay, later, nerds.